What actually happens to your body after exposure to the coronavirus? What exactly causes your body infection and replication process? What is the effective drug for the COVID-19? And why it is taking so long for the development of COVID vaccine? In November 2019, China notifies World Health Organization an outbreak of respiratory infections in the Wuhan province of China. The virus, later named Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome Coronavirus 2 as SARS-CoV-2, causing illness as COVID-19. COVID-19 is a contagious viral infection spreading through inhalation or ingestion of viral droplets, primarily attacking your throat and lungs. What actually happens to your body after exposure to the coronavirus? Coronavirus infects living hosts in order to replicate. The structure of coronavirus has multiple parts. Inside the virus, there is the genetic information that allows the virus to replicate inside the human cells. A protein cell provides a hard protective enclosure for the genetic material as the virus travels between the people it infects. The virus capsid has protein structure with crown-like spikes, which interlock perfectly with structure present on the surface of human cell. When these pieces fit together, the virus manages to attach itself and opens a gap in its cell membrane, injecting its genetic information inside. Once the process is complete, its reproductive system starts to produce new copies of the capsid and viral proteins, which goes on attacking the neighboring cell as a chain reaction. What exactly causes your body infection and replication process? The virus is thought to spread mainly from person to person, between people who are in close contact with one another, from respiratory droplets produced when an infected person coughs, sneezes, or talks. These droplets can land in the mouths or noses of people who are nearby or possibly be inhaled into the lungs. On average, it takes about 5 to 6 days for someone to show symptoms after being infected from COVID-19. Surprisingly, some people who carry the coronavirus remain asymptomatic. Experts say survival depends on a patient's lungs. Coronavirus can infect both the upper and lower respiratory tract. When the virus stays in the upper tract, above the windpipe in lungs, it causes fever, cough, or a sore throat. If the virus migrates to the lower tract, it occurs shortness of breath to the patient. Once the virus reaches the lungs, it causes inflammation, which results fluid accumulation in the lungs and difficulty in breathing. The fluid fills the lungs' air sacs, which are responsible for respiration. As a result, there will be the fall of blood oxygen level below normal. This particular condition is known as pneumonia. As breathing becomes more and more difficult, that's the point where a person will need a ventilator to breathe. An overactive immune system that responds in an extreme way to the virus can cause massive damage in the body, whereas one that's too weak cannot fight it off. What is the effective drug for the COVID-19? In the current situation, antibody containing plasma from a recovered patient is given by transfusion to a patient who is suffering from COVID-19. The donor antibodies may help the patient fight the illness, shortening the length of the disease. Plasma is a part of blood cells containing antibodies. Literally, plasma from a recovered patient has been used for more than 100 of years to treat a variety of illnesses, from measles to polio, chickenpox, and SARS. Many doctors globally have been treating COVID-19 patients with remdesivir, dexamethasone since the pandemic began. These drugs make biological signs of developing hyperimmune system to the viral infection. These are potent anti-inflammatory drugs and infusion that are already available and cheap in the market. WHO initially recommended using acetaminophen and ibuprofen for reducing fever, aches, and pains. Early reports from China and France suggested that patients with severe symptoms of COVID-19 improved more quickly when given chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine. These are antibodies for malaria and lupus. Study shows that these antibodies are able to kill the COVID-19 virus in the laboratories. Most of the people infected with COVID-19 virus are able to recover at home. On August 2020, Russia granted COVID-19 prescription drug to treat our patients named Sputnik V. It became first coronavirus drug that directly targets the virus and blocks replication. Clinical trial was done among 168 participants. The drug led to a decrease in a median time to clinical improvement in COVID-19 patients. Till the making of this video, WHO is looking forward for reviewing the clinical trials of this Russian vaccine. Therefore, there is no formal approval to the Sputnik V from WHO to global population. And why it is taking so long for the development of COVID vaccine? More than 150 coronavirus vaccines are in development across the world. This is true when the vaccines involve new technologies that haven't been tested for safety or adapted to allow for mass production. First, a vaccine is tested in animals to see if it works and it's safe. Next comes testing in humans in different phases. Phase 1 evaluates the safety of the vaccine in humans, whereas Phase 2 guides the formulation and doses of vaccine in order to prove its effectiveness. Finally, the Phase 3, the safety and efficiency of a vaccine, needs to be demonstrated in a group of people. A vaccine will take 12 to 18 months or longer for these clinical phases of testing. If a vaccine gets approved, it will take time to produce, distribute, and administrate to the global population. Therefore, most experts think COVID-19 vaccine is likely to become available by early or mid-2021. Until a COVID-19 vaccine is available, avoid close contact, gatherings, wear face masks and respirators in the public places, practice good hygiene, and stay home until and unless anything important to get outside.